first up, how many fans of first movie? Avengers. Okay, awesome. So while we see this picture, my idea is to kind of try and paint you what happens behind the scenes. Okay? So, what is the process behind a sexy social media campaign that you guys see? Right? So this is kind of few steps that we follow at Dialog. So from the objective, research, mechanics, channel, the content, seeding, plan B, and then execute. And then after we go live, we monitor, we optimize, and finally we report. Right? So unfortunately today I have only 20 minutes. I don't want to take you like through the entire gamut. So we'll be touching on the first step or the first or the series that I have on top. So first of all, the objective. Right? So this is something not new. This was taught to me about 20 years ago by my scouting master. I don't know if any of you guys know, Mr. Rohan Veerasekara. So SMART was kind of drilled into us. So for whenever you're setting objectives, this is something we kind of follow, right? So first of all, it has to be specific. So how many of you guys have come across requirements like this? I want to hit 1 million downloads. So first of all, you have to ask them, are you talking about downloads or active users? Right? There are two different things. Are you talking about paid or organic? Then once you drill down to paid, how many do you expect from digital? So likewise, so we get a lot of requirements. So the first thing is kind of drill down and be precise. Okay, what do you exactly want? Then measurable. Right? How do you kind of measure the downloads, right? So we use sometimes the ad platform. The ad platform, for example, in this instance, if it's downloads, will tell you, okay, how many downloads. But sometimes you might not want to trust the ad platform itself. So you will go into third-party analytics, right? And sometimes even those figures also you might not want to trust. So you might want to even also look at your own data, right? How many registered users have hit the actual database? Okay. Are you guys with me so far? Okay. Then relevant. Okay. There are two aspects when you're talking about being relevant. So one is the target audience and the other one is the campaign type. So when you're talking about the target audience, you can be talking about the age, the educational level, even Facebook activity, what kind of device they're using, whether they're using a 4G device, whether they're using a smartphone, an Apple, an Android, likewise. And then the campaign type, right? So are they talking about an awareness campaign? Are they talking about an engagement campaign? Or are they talking about an acquisition? Right? So what is the difference between these three? When you're talking about awareness, we're talking about brand recall, top of mind. I want to reach, I want the 100 million impressions. I want the whole of Colombo to be talking about my campaign, that kind of thing. Engagement is, I want so many people to like my posts. I want to be the most engaging brand, likewise. And then finally, acquisition would be your bottom of the funnel requirement. I want registrations, I want downloads, I want people to activate a pack, likewise. Then finally, the time, right? So it might be within 1 month, it might be by the end of the year, or it might be a monthly occurring thing. I want 30,000 packs activated every month, likewise. So these are some of the principles that we kind of follow. So have I missed anything? Clearly you guys aren't paying attention. So if you notice, I missed the A. Right? I kept that for the last. Okay. Lastly, is it possible to achieve whatever you get as an ask, right? Because sometimes people will come up with massive ideas. I want 1 million downloads, I want so many registrations, I want to be the #1 brand. Okay. So for people who are familiar with project management, right, there are 3 variables that kind of go hand in hand, right? So it's something similar. So it depends on the product or service that you're putting out there, right? Then it depends on the time that you have. What do you think is the last one? Seriously? No guesses. How much money you have? Right? So if all these 3 things are on your side, obviously you can achieve anything. Right? Awesome. So after all that, how do you react to when somebody says, I want to make a viral video? Right? So now you guys know that there's no such thing as, making a viral video, right? Okay. So you have to drill it down to all those things. Saying, what do you mean by viral? Okay. How many views? Likewise. Next step, research. What do we mean by research? Does this mean this? So most of it starts off like that in our team, right? We'll have to eat a lot, but while eating, what also happens is we brainstorm, talk about stuff. Okay, so now we have to hit 1 million downloads for this particular product. How do we do it? What are the ideas? Right. So then one example. Also, this was a digital Vesak Torana that we launched. Right. So obviously all of you have seen the offline version of a Torana, so we wanted to do a digital version of it, right? So, but research told us that just because we have a good designer in-house, we get some pictures, we put out a promo on Instagram saying, hey, hashtag this and send off their pictures, we can't run it, right? Similar to the process a normal Torana would have, right? There is another process where we meet a priest, get his approval, get his blessings, likewise. So when you're launching a campaign, there's an amount of research that you need to do as well. Right? So once you've done your research, comes the mechanics of the campaign. Right? Have you guys noticed promos like this? Right? I don't know whether you can read the text on that. It says, to win, make sure you're following blah, 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 comment, blah, 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 do it before midnight, blah, blah, blah. And this one says, like, share, tag, all that, right? What do you think is wrong? Right? Basically, you're getting your customer to jump through so many hoops, right? You might be having targets to increase your page likes, you might be having targets to increase your shares, but all that. But don't run one campaign and expect everything to come for the one campaign. Right? Make it easier for your customer. Right? Simple example. I think those from the UX fraternity probably know this. Right? So you probably will design the best kind of roadways, but users will kind of use the most easiest thing in front of them. Right? So no point kind of planning everything. Right? So it's not only limited to UX. I mean, same with one of our campaigns, right? So for the past FIFA World Cup that ended this month, we designed this app where you can log in, you can pick who will win, right? Then you can share it on Facebook, share it on Twitter, and all that, and then we put it up on Facebook. What do you think happens? people just start commenting their answers. Right? So exactly. So those are the things that you have to kind of figure out, right? So no point spending all that effort, building a sexy app where it's user friendly, UX, mobile optimized, all that. It's people just, that's all. So to think carefully about the mechanics. Then we have the channel plan. Right? So in social media, there's a massive amount of channels that you can market. So I'll just talk about 4 of the popular ones. Any guesses towards how many active users on Facebook? Really, really silent audience. Okay. So we're 6.2 million. Don't worry if you don't get like a wrong answer. I'm not going to kind of, haunt you or send you out of the class or something like that. Right? On YouTube, we have about 4.6 million active monthly. Instagram just hit 1 million. And for our Twitter community, right? So Twitter community, I think, is kind of on the decline. If you have accounts, you'd have noticed there are your followers keep reducing these few days. So Twitter also is kind of deleting the bots that are out there. So that's it. So when you're planning a campaign, right, you have to look at what channel you want to focus on based on what target audience you want to tap. Right? So for example, if you're looking at more lifestyle, active people, then you look at Instagram. Whereas if you're looking at more mass market kind of reach as many people as possible in one way, Facebook would be easier. So likewise, depending on your campaign, you'd pick which channel you want to go. Then finally, content. So on content, I'm not going to talk too much because I have 2 speakers who are experts in content, so I don't want to kind of take away from them. But I just want to kind of highlight how you'd use content on different mediums. So I'll just play 3 videos that we have. Sound.
Of Dialog Rugby Club Sevens. Yes, and they'll be taking on the greatest rugby players of all time. And I'm Dino Correa, and we're here at Racecourse Ground. And we're facing off with the captains of Dialog Rugby Club Sevens. Yes, and they'll be taking on the greatest rugby players of all time.
Messi is denied. Lionel Messi, denied from the spot by Hannes Haldorsen.
Can you guys tell me what are the differences between those 3 pieces of coin? I think we need to give tips for those who answer. Is that going to help? Okay. Anyone? No. Okay. So yeah, first, most obvious one, right? The aspect ratio. First one is horizontal, square, and vertical. Right? Awesome. Length of the video. Obviously, this was longer. This was medium, and that was really short. Anything else? Third one is a bit of a tough one. Okay. Sort of. Getting there, but not what I'm trying. Do you think the first video, if I played it without sound, you'd have understood what's happening there? Exactly. But second and maybe the third can understand, right? Exactly. So now that you know all that, any guesses to which medium, which one would kind of fit? I know I'm playing like that kids game where you have a triangle and a kind of a circle and square and trying to fit which one. But yeah. Horizontal one. What else? If it's an online channel, YouTube. Got it. Second one, Facebook. Obviously, there's Facebook there, right? And the last one, Instagram. So we were testing out IGTV. So I'm not sure how many of you guys know, but yeah, so as soon as IGTV came out, we wanted to kind of see, okay, what's the reaction? So we got one of our content producers who's also manning the camera, those who know him, to kind of, work on some of the content for us. So these are some of the things that you need to kind of keep in mind. One more thing. I'm not sure whether all of you have heard of this, but do you know what seeding is? So seeding is one of the basic principles of making sure your content goes viral, right? So you have to find a good set of ardent followers, right? And then make sure that they are the first few guys who come on board, who sign up, who share your content. Because otherwise, sometimes you might have a brilliant idea, but you might not have people kind of signing up or registering or doing whatever you want to do. So imagine if, for example, the ice bucket challenge didn't take on. If the first few guys didn't even bother, it'll just look like some joker putting some ice water on his head and then just die. Right? So similarly, you have to identify your content seeders. So a content seeder would turn this into this, into this, into this, into that. Got it? Okay. How many of you have heard of Murphy's Law? Right? If there's a possibility of something going wrong, it most likely will, right? So we always have to have a plan B, or alternate, right? Because you come up with a brilliant idea and then you go live and it doesn't work. Similarly, so going back to FIFA, right? So we noticed once we put the app, right? We had a bunch of registrations, right? People were predicting and all that, but it was not the target that we expected. So then the team got together, quickly kind of decided, and used something that is pretty common. Right? We started asking them on Instagram. Right? So this had like 4 times more predictions. Obviously, it's easier. You don't have to move away from Facebook or whatever, sign into another app or all that. So again, user experience, ability to kind of have an alternate plan, all of those. Finally, it's execution time. So if you've got all that, hopefully you'll end up with something like this. I might.
Video බෑවද Facebook එකේ වැඩ ටික ඔක්කොම කරගත්තද selfie ටික Instagram දැම්මද WhatsApp Viber එහෙම ඔක්කොම හරිද වැඩ එහෙනම් light එක නිවල නිදාගන්න
Exactly, right? So all of that kind of boiled down to this. So that's about it for me.
Video.
Any questions? Going by the fact that nobody asked me anything before, I'm assuming there are no questions. Okay, we have one more. Is there a mic for Budu? No. Just go ahead. No problem. Okay. Correct. Yeah. Correct. Yeah. Correct. Yeah. So thankfully we have a very understanding management who kind of, I'm not paid to say that. No. Yeah, I'm not paid to say that, but yeah. It happens. So you have people who'd come and say, but what about this? I really like this kind of thing. Why not this color? This color I like. We have that. It's not that we don't, but thankfully we've managed to kind of explain to them why there's a process and why what we put forward would work as opposed to a gut feeling. So it helps to have a justification. For example, if somebody likes blue and I'm saying no, red is the color. If I don't know why red is going to work, then it's going to be tough to argue with management. But if I can say no, red fits well with the app, it blends with our brand colors, it's I don't know, whatever, more attention grabbing, all that, then yes. But if not, it's going to be a tough battle. So yeah. Any more questions? Awesome. Okay.